Hamas has released the remains of 4 Israeli hostages. The bodies are of mother Shiri Bibas and her 2 young children, Ariel and Kafir, who were abducted from Kibbutz Nir on October the 7th of 2023. The 4th body is of great-grandfather Oded Lifshitz, who was taken from the same community. The Red Cross has taken custody of their remains and is driving them to the Israeli border, where they'll be presented to the Israeli Defence Forces. Middle East correspondent Matthew Doran joins us now from Tel Aviv. Matthew, so explain for us where you are and what's the mood like there.
Joe, good evening to you. We're standing here in Hostage Square in central Tel Aviv, which has been the focus point for a lot of the vigils and a lot of the rallies that have been underway over the course of this last 16 months, calling for the hostages to be released. And usually when we are standing here as hostages are handed over by Hamas, this square is packed full of people and there are celebrations. There is a feeling of relief. Today it is very empty. The crowd's instead replaced by the flags of Israel, which have been adorned with the yellow ribbon of the hostage movement. There are very few people here. It is, of course, a work day. That may be a factor here. The weather hasn't exactly been the best, but it is also indicative of just how sensitive this situation is. Usually we see the handover ceremony or the protocols happening on the big screen behind us. Again, that is not being shown here today. A sing-along has actually just started in the tent next door to where we are, singing songs of hope, saying that this may be a very dark moment in Israel's history, but there is some hope, some light on the horizon. We will see from here, there will be a rally here later tonight, a vigil for those bodies, for the 4 hostages who have been brought back, and we know that process is now underway. The Red Cross driving those bodies to the Israel border. They'll be handed over to the IDF and then they will travel in convoy here to Tel Aviv.
And Matthew, has the Israeli government says what the plans are after that?
So once those bodies get here to Tel Aviv, they'll be taken to the National Forensics Centre, where they'll go through a process of formal identification. Authorities are warning Israelis that could take some time because there is no indication as to exactly what condition the remains are in. Hamas, for example, had said that Shiri Bibas and her 2 young sons, Ariel and Kafir, were killed back in November 2023. And we don't have any information as to how their remains were kept during that time. So the formal identification process could be quite lengthy, and as a result of that we are still hearing a lot of caution from the hostages' families, saying do not eulogise our loved ones just yet. We want to go through this formal identification process before we get to that point. The 4th hostage here, Oded Lifshitz, we actually spoke to his grandson Daniel a couple of weeks ago when it was still not clear if he was alive or dead, but it was clear that he would be released as part of this first group of 33 hostages during the initial 6-week ceasefire in Gaza. And Daniel told us that it was very difficult for his family to be preparing both a celebration should Oded be released alive and also a funeral should they be confronted by his body being handed over by Hamas. That shows just how difficult this situation has been. These families have only just learned in the last day or 2 that their loved ones are definitely dead, and that will be a process of deep mourning, not only for them but for the broader Israeli community as well.